If you're a service-based business owner or you're running Google Ads for a service-based business and you want to see how to see more success and higher quality leads for your business in 2026, this is the video that you need to watch. Now, it's been well documented the amount of changes that is happening inside of Google Ads, but the most significant changes that have been happening are actually got to do with the Google search experience. And this has affected the way that we treat and the way that we manage Google Ads campaigns for lead generation businesses more than it has affected the strategies that we use for e-commerce brands. And the main reason for this is because for a long time, when it came to lead generation or service-based businesses, you would very much see success in Google Ads by what we would call keyword sniping, in the fact of you would choose your keywords and they would be the keywords that you would bid on and that you would target. And it was quite a simple process. That has changed dramatically. And the reason why it has changed is, as I said, you've got a couple of core drivers of this. Not only users not clicking on ads as much, there is already data that was been released by SEO Interactive, which over a 12-month period of last year saw in some niches and in some industries, click-through ratios dropping from 14% down to 6%. And this has got to do with people using AI overviews and AI mode more and more. So it doesn't matter whether you're just starting with Google Ads, whether you're spending, a smaller or more moderate amount, like up to say, you might be spending anywhere between $10 to $50 a day, or you may be spending thousands of dollars a day. This is a video you need to pay attention to because for success inside of Google Ads for lead generation, it is changing drastically. And if you're just going to rely wholly on search campaigns, you will be left behind. So as I said, whether you're just starting with Google Ads for service-based businesses or you are spending thousands of dollars a day, this is the video you need to pay attention to because in this video, I'm going to be going through the core conversion settings that you need to get right. We won't spend too much time there, but it is really, really important. Which campaigns and account structures that we start with and the ones that we're seeing the most success with, what keyword match types to use, and then finally, when to introduce Performance Max. Now, by that last point, you can see that I'm going to be pro Performance Max for lead generation. But I do need to stress it needs to be done in the right environment, at the right time, and at the right way. We're very much going to be focusing on what success looks like for lead generation inside of Google Ads, but there are a lot of other things you need to take into account, including your ad copy, creatives, the different levers that you need for budget control and spend, how to cycle through success with Google Ads. And I've got all of that inside of a playbook, which I call my ultimate playbook for lead generation. This is not only a download, but you also get access to a masterclass, which I lay out the whole way that we approach lead generation and Google Ads. And if you want to get access to that, all you need to do, follow the link in the description below. All right, let's quickly start with the core conversion actions that you need to get right inside of Google Ads and especially with your conversion settings. The easiest way for me to show you this is we're going to go into a live Google Ads account and I'm going to show you these campaign settings when it comes to conversions that you really need to make sure that you're getting right. So where you want to go through, if you can check this for your account, go into goals, then you go into conversions and you want to go and see the summary. And then I also like to go into view all conversions. It just makes it a little bit easy to see. And I want to show you a couple of the core settings that we need to get right and need to make sure that we have set. This one is one that we don't use anymore, but that one was set to every. Now, when it comes to phone calls, you want to be making sure that you've got this thing in place. You can see here when it comes to the core settings that we've got this call length set at 120 seconds. By default, Google set this at 30 seconds. And if you are not using any offline conversions and you're just starting with Google Ads, this is the easiest way that you can start to increase the quality of your phone calls coming in by increasing that call length. So what will happen from here is that because for us, we set this at 120 seconds, which is generally the rule that we do set. We do have some clients where it's as low as 90 seconds, but we want to make sure that we're only targeting calls. So when we do switch over to maximize conversions that are 120, so two minutes long or longer, and that cuts out a lot of that spammy calls or the calls which are, not for the service or not for the product that you're wanting to target and you're wanting to market. So that's the first thing that you can do. The second thing that you can also do, now this is for all conversions, whether it's a form fill or whether it's a phone call, is that you want to make sure, especially for the lead generation, that you've set this to one and not every. This becomes especially important for form fills or for phone calls because if this person, let's just say they were to ring and then they were to ring back and then they were to ring back, it would be counting as 3 conversions. Because we've got it as one, it only counts as the first conversion inside of that conversion window, which we've got at 30 days at the moment. So that's the two core things that you want to be thinking about inside of Google Ads. Now, while we're here, I will let you know about one other thing that you want to be thinking about, and this has got to do with form fills. When it comes to form inquiries, we are more and more moving to a multi-step form, and we're doing this through external software, things like Typeform. You don't have to use Typeform. A lot of businesses we're working with are using internal quoting systems. And what you really want to be looking at there is trying to move away just from the simple form fill, and you actually want to set a higher bar. So what that does do, some people will argue, oh, well, hey, we might lose some inquiries, but if you're only getting spammy inquiries, by having a multiple stage form fill, what that is doing is by default, it is really looking at a higher quality lead. Then you can build your conversion tracking off it so you can start moving into maximize conversions faster and faster. That's three of the settings that we'll look at. One thing I will note, I'm a big believer in offline conversions, but because that is such a massive topic, we're not going to have time for this in this video. At the end of this video, I will let you know we can go see a full video about offline conversions and lead generation for Google Ads. But right now, let's jump back in front of the camera and we'll head to point number 2. All right, now let's talk about what type of campaigns and what account structure you need to be using for greater success with lead generation and Google Ads in 2026. Now, it should come as no surprise that a core foundation of any lead generation account is still going to be your search campaigns. And in fact, even when you move out to other types of campaigns, when you've got a more complicated or more complex system inside of Google Ads, or more advanced is probably a better word, search will still be the core foundation of that account. And in fact, we've got some large spending accounts which are spending, upwards of 50,000 a month for lead generation. And yes, we do use Performance Max to a great measure, but it's only 10 to 20% of the spend. So search is going to be a core foundation of your business. Given that we're going to be really relying on search to do a lot of the heavy lifting, it is really important that you also have your structures set up correctly inside of your account for your search campaigns. When it comes to search, what you really want to be thinking about is how do you control your spending to the best advantage for your business? And this is something that a lot of Google Ads professionals or a lot of agencies don't really dive into when it comes to setting up the right structure for your lead generation business. And we spend a lot of time going through this when we're working with our different clients and our different students to really work out, and the way that we phrase it is, what levers do you need for your business? And what you really want to be thinking about here is that one of the easiest ways to see greater success with Google Ads is to be able to spend more money where you're getting the better results. A lot of the times inside of Google Ads, you can't do that because you haven't got the correct campaign segmentation. There's a lot of different reasons for why you'd add in a different campaign segmentation. You can really break it down into 4 key areas. And the first one is your location targeting. The second one is the keyword focus or the services that you're targeting. The third one is traffic volumes and profit margins. And the final one is just really, it comes down to your business setup. And, for example, you may be a franchise model, or you may have offices in different locations where you want to be able to control the spending for a really valid reason, which doesn't really have much to do with Google Ads, but it's got a lot to do with how you control spending inside of your individual business. Right now, come with me. We're going to go back and I'm going to show you some real examples of how we've used these 4 areas or these 4 principles to get better results for Google Ads and lead generation. And the one thing I firstly want to highlight with this first example is that you don't need to have a complicated setup. A lot of businesses think that they need to have these really super complicated setups in order to see success with Google Ads. I want to show you a business here which is spending $7,000 a month inside of Google Ads. When they started with us, they were only spending $50 a day. So we've increased that spend from $50 up to $235. We're just running 2 campaigns. And what you've got through here, it's purely just around their 2 core services, which is jewelry and watches. So that's all we've got. Nothing more, nothing less. So don't feel like you've got to really go through and have it super complicated. But let me just quickly show you the reason for that is it really comes down to the budget. So you can see this budget for this service down here is at $160 a day, whereas this top one's at $75 a day. Oh, I don't want to accidentally change that budget. But the reason for why we do that is because this is the more profitable service, which got a higher volume. This one has a lower search volume, but it's super highly profitable. So that's why we still want some spend there. When they first came to us, this was all in one campaign. And the issue that they had was they couldn't get enough spend into this lower volume, higher profit service. So that's a perfect example of why you want to add in some different campaigns so you can control that spending. Next one. This one is a perfect example of us creating a structure that works for this business in relation to how they need to target around different locations. So what they've done through here is that this business operates in Australia. They target 3 core centers or 3 core cities, and that's Melbourne, Sydney, and also Brisbane and the Gold Coast combined. The reason why they did it that way is because they've got offices in those different areas. And just the way that their business works is they've got 2 core services, and the top service that they run, it doesn't matter which office it runs in. It can run out of any of those 3 offices. But for their second service, it does need to be set around different target locations because they've got different office staff. They've got to employ different people in those offices because it's actually a physical service product that they need to offer. So by running that, what that's allowed us to do for the service where it doesn't matter which office it's run from, we can push as much budget in there as possible, which is allowing us to move to smart bidding faster and really allowing us to scale because we're getting more data into that campaign. Whereas for these other campaigns, because it's really important that we do keep that spending based around geographical areas, we can then bring those areas together, and you can see that that's allowing us to split out those budgets depending on how profitable each location is. All right, let me now show you another example, and this is an example which is more based around different types of services. And what I really want you to highlight here is these 2 campaigns. These 2 campaigns target the same area, same business, but what the difference is that this campaign has their 4 top priority services. These are much more profitable than these other services in here, and they still need to be building out these services, but these ones here are the top level. When they had these in the same campaign, what was happening is that these general terms was taking all the spend and they just weren't as profitable. So that's why we built that out. Once again, we can separate out that budget. So this is where you need to start thinking about what makes sense for you and your business, and how do you want to be able to control the spend at that campaign level to see the best results for you and your business or your client's business. And then I want to show you another example here. And this is probably just another example, and I'll just show you the budgets in through here. So this is a business that when they started with us, they were only spending $10,000 a month. We've now got them above $70,000 months. And what you can see from here is that, yes, we run Performance Max, but it's only $200 of a $1,600 a day budget. At the moment, they're in their low season. That's why their budget is down at $50,000. But this is the same structure that we use through the middle of the year when they do spend up to $70,000. We get them between $65,000 to $70,000 in their peak season. But what I want to show you in through here is, once again, we've broken this out by states. And the reason for why that works for us is especially because they operate in the US market. They've got a lot of different states which have different population bases, and they've got a big variance in their CPCs. And I'll just show you an example in through here. With some of these state-based campaigns, you can see their CPC ranges, some of them in at $7, some of them at $6, others are at $8. When we look at the cost per conversion metrics in through here, you can see this ranges in between $50 down to the low 40s, and even one in here at 38. So by breaking this out into different campaigns, it allows us to grow the business at different speeds and increase budgets where we are getting the best results. Now, while we're in this screen share, I do want to stay here because now I want to talk about what keyword match types to use and how to structure your campaign. So let's firstly talk about the number of ad groups that you should be using inside of your Google Ads campaigns. This is not a hard and fast rule, but generally we do find is that very, very rarely will we have any more than 4 ad groups inside of one campaign. The reason for that is that we just find that once we start having more than 4, you can already see in through here, this one's got 4, and you can see is that these top 2 are taking the vast majority of the spend. You can see through here, of a total spend of 17,000, these 2 are taking, 11,000. This other third ad group, it is getting some spend, but the last one is down at 2,000. So it's about 25% of what the top ad group is. This is still working for them because once again, it's still driving through. We're not ready to break it out even further. But what we do find is, I know back, especially 3, 4, 5 years ago, you could have a campaign running with 10 different ad groups, in some cases even more. What we find now, very, very rarely do we have more than 4 different keyword themes inside of an ad group. And the reason for that is you do need to remember that with the keyword targeting, it's much broader now. So that brings us to the next step, which is how do we actually structure our ad groups? What I'm going to say now, this is a very nuanced conversation, and I'm going to be releasing a full video on Broadmatch and why I think you should be using Broadmatch and how to use it in the right way for lead generation. So that video is going to be coming out 2 days after this video. So if you aren't subscribed, make sure that you're going to subscribe. You turn on that notification bell so you can see when that video is released. But I want to show you, I give you a look inside how this actually works for us. We've only just newly picked up this account. We're going to be pausing some of these Broadmatch keywords because when we took this on, they had a lot of Broadmatch keywords. We've cut a lot of that down. We like to have no more than 3 3 or 4, generally most cases. We'll only have 1 or 2 broad match keywords, but we'll have 3 or 4 words in that keyword phrase. So these are the new ones that we've started to build out. We will eventually, as I said, over the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be ready to start turning off some of these broad match keywords. And we like to have, as I said, we'll have 3 different broad match keywords, and then we build out our exact match keywords. And I'll just show you in through here. Once we pause those keywords, at the moment, we've got 22 exact match keywords. And the reason for why that's really, really important is you need to remember, and I'll be going through this in the video later, with your broad match keywords, one of the key insights that it gets for actually targeting what phrases to get is the other keywords inside of your current ad groups. So what we also do is we do still very much build out some negative keywords. So when you structure it, you want to make sure that you do have some broad match keywords in there. In the video later this week, I'm going to be really making sure that you roll it out in the right way. If you're not using broad match right now, please just don't go on and turn on broad match because it needs to be set in the right environment. But it's going to become a requirement, and the reason for that is broad match is one of the only ways that you can get your ads appearing inside of AI overviews and AI mode. So the structure that you want inside of your individual ad groups, so remembering inside of the campaigns, generally I have about 4 ad groups built around single theme ad groups. And then you also, inside of your individual ad groups, you want to have a mix of broad match and exact match working together for the best results for your business. And now that brings us to the 4th and final piece of the puzzle when it comes for success with lead generation and Google Ads in 2026. And that is all about when to introduce Performance Max. I want to be really, really clear with the language that I use there, because you'll notice that I said when to introduce Performance Max, not whether if you should introduce it. At some stage, you will need to use Performance Max when it comes to Google Ads in lead gen. I know there are still some people that are still really, really anti using Performance Max for lead generation. And their reasons for that is because you get spammy leads or poor quality leads. For me, time and time again, we have seen account after account after account perform better once we've introduced Performance Max. But I do want to give some warnings there. For me, Performance Max is not a starting campaign for lead generation. For many businesses, and I showed you a perfect example, they're spending $7,000 a month and we don't need to use Performance Max yet. Generally find somewhere between that $5,000 to $10,000 mark is when you do need to start reaching out and using Performance Max. So don't hear me say that you should be starting with Performance Max. You need to start with search and you need to build with search. And I showed you those examples of even some of those businesses that right now are spending $50,000 a month inside of Google Ads. Only $200 a day is allocated to Performance Max. So search is still the core foundation, but you do need to engage Performance Max, especially when you start to see these 2 things coming into place. The first one, which is what I call CPC resistance. And CPC resistance is when you start to see that you can no longer profitably scale just by increasing your budgets and you've got no other options for segmenting out into different locations or different keyword focuses or different products or services. When you've pulled all of those options and you increase your budget by 10% and your CPCs goes up by 15 or 20 or 25%. And a key stat to look at here is look at your search impression share. If you start to see your search impression share getting above that 60%, that's when you can kind of start to see that CPC resistance hitting in. That's where you may need to reach out to Performance Max. The second thing is when you need to increase your conversion metrics. If you're starting to see your cost per conversion increasing and you're not getting the same value for the money that you're spending inside of Google Ads, that's another time that you need to start thinking about adding in Performance Max. But as I said, I want to give a really big warning. You don't use it straight away. You need to make sure that you've got offline conversions set up and operating. But because, as I said, that's such a big topic, and I did promise earlier, if you want to learn more about offline conversions and how we roll this out inside of Define Digital Academy, I want you to go through and watch this extended discussion that I had with Johan, one of our Define Digital Academy coaches, when we spoke about offline conversions, and you can see that video right here. Once again, thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron Young from Define Digital Academy, and if you wanted to get my complete playbook for lead generation in Google Ads, make sure you follow that link in the description below. See you next time.